When I was a kid, I loved watching anime, starting from the early days of Naruto and Bleach. But I learned pretty quickly that you shouldn't express your feelings towards it in public, that it was even a taboo of sorts. In fact, I was bullied for it, labeled as the weird one just because I mentioned the word anime a couple of times when people were talking about their favorite shows. None of my classmates watched anime, and as far as I know, 10 years later, they still don't. But even after all that, the bullying, the shunning, I still kept watching it. But why? What drove me to watch even more, though it was discouraged? Why did I watch anime? TV these days is fairly mediocre. The market's oversaturated with reality shows that don't bring anything new to the table or offer any kind of excitement to a viewer with the IQ of over 60, and the good shows that do exist are scarce, with only a couple coming out every quarter. It's not that they could even do that much about it, because reality is still reality, with its normal human characters, scenery that, unless well shot, isn't anything magical, and aside from the story, visually speaking, hasn't advanced tremendously. You can take your content a bit further nowadays with CGI and special effects, but that costs massive amounts of money, and unless success is guaranteed, the companies won't give you enough funding for it. This is where anime shines, bringing huge amounts of innovation to the lackluster content market. To make animation, you need sizable budget and talented workers, but once you have overcome that threshold, there is no stopping in what you make, which is also one of its biggest selling points: the variety. The tremendous and ludicrous amounts of variety. From a guy with rubber arms being a pirate, to giant mechs fighting to take down the superpower that is the Holy Britannian Empire, to a guy who is so strong that he blasts everything away with one punch, to massive titans terrorizing a fictional Germany. Anime doesn't have to stick with the logistics of our boring old world. The endless amounts of content that is offered is only limited by the artist's imagination. Every quarter around 30 to 40 anime are made, most of them new IPs with entirely different casts and worlds, which means that everyone will have something interesting for them. Be that another high school anime or a Harry Potter-esque adventure, most likely there is even too much content for a single person to handle. Aside from the massive amounts of different genres, anime has something that TV series don't: next level visual storytelling. It can offer us the same sort of plot that we have already seen, but in a whole new way, because it's more than just a show, it is also art. You can't really up the graphics on a live action show. Anime on the other hand is magical with no limits. They aren't grounded in reality and don't have to follow its physics. Just look at the charming world of Mushishi, the massiveness of Cowboy Bebop, the mind-blowingness of Kill la Kill. Anime is a lot more difficult to make than live action shows, but the average frame tells so much more than the counterpart. Each stroke of the brush, every facial expression, everything is crafted to tell the story, and the limitations of actors' performance is removed from the equation altogether. Yes, this means that there is more pressure on the animator's performance, but they also create an extra layer on top of each show, putting in their passion and emotion into each scene. One of the first anime that I ever saw was Naruto, from where I moved on to watch the now almost ended Big 3, but it will always hold a dear place in my heart. From the very first second it resonated with me as an angsty teenager that I was back then, as most of us probably were. To us, there wasn't anything out there at the time. Sure, there were shows and cartoons for adults with adults and cartoons for children, and that doesn't mean that teens can't enjoy them. But there wasn't anybody that represented us, that was geared specifically for teenagers. Anime was the piece that filled the void, full of rich characters where the protagonists were going through the same problems as us, trying to make friends, fitting in, finding your place in life, facing your problems, and not just demeaning it into a simple comedy show or an overtly edgy high school drama that were limited by the real world. We see the same characters that we are, the loners, the outcasts, the ones too shy to take the lead, but they are so much more. They are ninjas, warriors, fighters, living a much grander life. And through our newfound connection, so are we. At an age where there wasn't much dedication to the teenage market, anime dominated it, and it still does. Not only that, but the characters grow and evolve with us, There are no physical limitations from the actors, so the story moves in a pace that is chosen by the creators. I started off with Naruto as one of my first anime and grew along with him, and as he aged, so did I. When Shippuden finally came out with a more mature Naruto, everything clicked again, since by that time I was again his age with similarly big dreams. Even if characters don't age on the outside, they do on the inside. Through their adventures they show us different aspects of life, loss of loved one, happiness that only true friendship can bring, conveying messages that say much more than your standard TV shows. They inspire people to better themselves, to go out and make friends, be the best you can be, to never give up. Recently, I was watching My Hero Academia and I had an explosive surge of motivation just by watching Midoriya struggle in his own little world and still manage to outwit his problems against all odds. Even when failing, he still managed to pull through somehow. The way that he handled his situation and the motivational dialogue spoken by him invoked me to follow in his steps, giving me a newfound desire to face my demons too, something that many shows can't accomplish. Anime isn't some kind of a comfort food to watch when you're bored. In an ever-expanding world of mediocre media, anime manages to stun people every year, bringing a variety of shows with intelligent stories, balls-to-the-walls action and memorable new characters whom everyone can fall in love with. It's the best of both worlds, combining a limitless art direction with the dense narrative that live action can offer us. So the question shouldn't be why people watch anime, it should be why doesn't everybody watch anime? Thanks for checking out my video and be sure to head on to Manime Matt's channel and watch his version on the same topic. We both really put our all into this. Bye.